Hey everybody, welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Thursday, the 27th of June. I was going to say November. I'm not sure why. How are you doing? How are you today? How are you in your life? How do you feel when you look in the mirror? How do you feel when you look at other people? I've been thinking about things like that a lot lately because I'm recognizing I'm meeting so many different people in the job that I have, in the work that I do, and I'm exposed to so many different places and things, like even going to the airport, seeing people from completely different nationalities, some of whom are Canadian, who come from different places, and some of whom are from other places and are landing or, switching planes and things like that. But recognizing that when I walk through an airport, or even if I walk through a mall, things are so different lately. I remember when I was about, I don't know, 14, we lived in Niagara Falls, and there's a mall there called Niagara Square. And that's sort of where you hung out if you were a teenager. And it was a long walk, but it was a walk from where I lived. So I'd go there sometimes and hang out with friends, or I just go a lot to the Kohl's bookstore, my favorite place to spend my babysitting money, things like that. And pretty much everybody I saw was either white, like Caucasian, or they might have olive complexion skin because a lot of people who lived in the area that I lived in Niagara Falls were Italian, and I didn't think anything of it. We were just all us. But over the years, I've noticed, like I go to the mall here, Shoppers Mall in Brandon. It was like a couple blocks away from our house, and it's like a United Nations. It's like walking through the airport. There are people of from the Philippines. There we have East Indians, Southeast Asians. We have lots of people of color. We have plenty of indigenous people, and we have some people who look like me. And I'm noticing lately that quite often, as I watch the kids go to school, where we live, the community that we're living in is pretty much a private community, and it used to be a gated community, I think, and it isn't anymore. But it's pretty much everybody's retired. Rob and I lower the mean average age of the neighborhood by quite a bit. But around us, if you drive off our street, off our cul-de-sac, there are tons and tons of kids. We don't live very far from a public school. And like literally maybe 2% of the kids I see are Caucasian. And that makes me think. It makes me wonder. Sometimes I think, am I racist because I'm noticing? I don't think so. I'm just noticing that things are different. It doesn't matter to me. It makes me laugh when I see little kids trying to hop their bikes over top of hockey sticks because they're trying to be like the big boys. It makes me laugh when I see the girls all chatting together and giggling when they walk past an older boy. It doesn't matter to me what color their hair is or their skin color or what they look like, or if they have a headscarf, or if they have like a turban, because I look at them and I see kids who are growing up in a society that I'm hoping they aren't as aware of skin color as my age is, because I'm finding that my generation is pretty aware of it. Maybe it's just because we grew up in times in Canada when it was pretty white bread, so to speak. At least the places I grew up. Not very often was there somebody who didn't look like us. And when they did, looking back now, I think they had incredible courage just to be able to come to class, play at recess, and be part of the group. When so many of us were not trying to be mean, we were just like, huh? They're different than we are, when actually they really weren't. I'm reading a book right now. I am a little bit of a book snob, but Um, before Christmas, before I moved here, I was reading Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. And it's, a classic. It was awful. It was absolutely dreadful. It was just plodding and difficult to read. But I did it because I don't start a book without finishing it. And then I've read a few books since then. But lately, before I go to sleep, I've been reading a Danielle Steele novel, not because I like Danielle Steele, but because simply she was on my shelf and it was the next one I grabbed. I have trouble passing by books at used bookstores and garage sales, and so they and I have trouble giving them away or donating them places if I haven't read them. So the book I'm reading, I can't remember the name of it, but it's about a Japanese girl whose mother and father send her to live with her uncle in California just to go to university just prior to Pearl Harbor and the internment camps. And it's making me sick to my stomach to read the book because what white people did for fear, and that's all it was, is fear. Some people over there who looked like that made a decision that made everybody over here be completely terrified and hate people who look like the enemy. It scares me because it seems to me that we're going there again. Maybe not our children. I watch the kids going to school and they seem oblivious to the differences. They seem to just, that's my buddy who goes to school with me, and it doesn't matter what their skin color is or whatever. They live in my neighborhood, so that just makes them cool. And I pray that they will live like that, that will be something that they continue to feel as they get older. But I'm worried that as they get older, they'll start to listen to the rhetoric we have right now. There is such an us and them society out there. In the States, it is blatant right now. The politics, the upcoming election, all of the ridiculousness, the debate tonight, what this might look like, and thank God there will be no audience to egg people on. But what hatred might come, what dog whistles might be blown, that people will not think, just react. And it bothers me that the same thing is happening in our country too. Maybe not about the same things, not about the same issues completely, although it seems like you're a bad person if you want health care for everybody. It seems like you're a bad person if you want people to pay fair taxes and everyone to have a shot, that everybody should have an opportunity for education, whether that's college or university or trades. I'm experiencing in my own life working with the folks in the north who are not all indigenous. Some of my congregations are not indigenous congregations. They are north, which means they're isolated and they pay through the nose for things like milk and bread. They have not always got roads that are passable in the winter. Going to Churchill in 2 weeks and I have to get there by train because there's no way to drive there the whole way. And because they are different, because they live someplace else, someplace where we don't understand them, sometimes I wonder, do we treat them like other? Might we get to the point where we say to someone who lives far north, it's your choice. It's your choice that you don't have clean water to drink. You live there. It's your choice that it costs, umpteen dollars for a jug of milk. You choose to live there. It's like kind of saying to somebody, you choose to be who you are. We don't choose our skin color. We don't choose the kind of hair we have for the most part. Things we could do. But this idea that others, because they are different than we are somehow to be put down. They are to be spat upon. They are to be considered a threat. Reading this book, reading about a young woman who is terrified of her future and whether she'll ever see her family again, whether she'll ever see the white man she has fallen in love with again, because she is Japanese at the wrong time and at the wrong place, along with her family, most of whom were born in America, but were considered as aliens, considered as the enemy because of their skin tone, their name, the language they shared, the customs they practiced. Have we changed? Has our society grown past that? I look at the children as they're going to school and I pray that they have. I pray that they will not fall backwards as they get older into thinking that it's necessary and it's acceptable to tar and feather another human being because of what they look like, or because they are different, because they aren't like you. God made us different. God made us unique. God created all of us. Why can't we be okay with that? Why do we feel the need to hurt other people, or to presume that they would hurt us simply because we are different than they are? The fact is, the problem doesn't lie in the other. The problem lies with us. I have to do the work of recognizing if I am racist. I am the one who has to do the work of recognizing, do I somehow inherently assume something of another group of people because of how they look or where they come from? Do I not give people the benefit of the doubt because of something? Or do I automatically give people the benefit of the doubt because of something? Those are questions I need to ask myself. I think they're questions we need to ask of all ourselves, especially as we come up to elections, and Canada may not be far behind either. We can't, for the sake of our children, we cannot hate. For the sake of our children, we need to learn how to love. And we can't love if we run around saying you're not lovable, because we can only love when we look at one another and say you're a child of God, and that means you're worthy of my love. Period. So, to all of you who are watching, you are worthy of my love, and I love you. You don't have to love me back. You don't have to like me. You don't even have to think that I'm allowed to be a priest or a bishop. I will still love you because you are a child of God, regardless of what you look like, what your education is or isn't, what you choose to do with your life. I love you. God loves you. Let's work together on loving each other. Okay? Have a great day. God bless. We'll see you again tomorrow for Feel Good Friday.